Hello people, and welcome to the second tutorial of Twitter Bootstrap. So in this tutorial I will show you how we can create a nice looking form using Bootstrap. So let's get going. So first of all, we will use form tags, closing form tag, and the class which we'll use for form from Bootstrap is class, and then we type equal sign, and within the quotation mark we type the class name. So class which we will use is called well. So what does this class do? This class will provide a nice little background and insets for our form. So let's run in the browser and test. What does it do? So you can see that it provides a nice little background for our form. So back to our editor. So our form will have two text boxes, two labels, and two buttons. So let's get going. First of all, label. So we use label tag, and name will be username, and closing label tag, and then input type. This will be our text box, text. Okay, so the class which we'll use for our text box is span3. Okay, and that's it. Yeah. Okay, so let's run it and test it. So span3 is like the size of our text box. So our text box will be over 3 columns. So span1 is 1 column, span2 2 columns, span3 3 columns. So each span is 1 column. So our text box will cover 3 columns in our browser. So it will be wide enough. This defines the width of our input box. So let's run and test it. So launch in Chrome. So here you can see a nice text box provided by the Bootstrap. So when you click in it, you can see the shadow, a light blue shadow around it. And the effect is provided by the Bootstrap. So back to our text editor. So I'll just copy and paste these two for my second text box. Okay. Now I will just change the label to password. Okay, now I will have two buttons. So I will show you how we can use nice fancy buttons for our form using Bootstrap. So button tag and closing button tag, and the button I want to have is submit. Okay, so the class which we'll use for our first button is btn space btn hyphen primary. So this will give us a nice blue button, and we'll create another button which will be simple button. So button class, for this button we'll use the class just btn. So this will create a normal white simple button. So I will just have a text clear. So button. So let me just give some line breaks. So let's run it and test it in our browser. How does it look like? So here you can see that we have two text boxes, two labels, and two buttons. So this is the button. This is the class btn hyphen primary class gives us this nice little blue button, and for this is the normal button in Bootstrap. So you can see it's still really good looking button, nice hover effect as well for both buttons. So you can see the width. This is quite wide form, so we can even reduce the width of our form by defining span. So remember, we defined span for our text boxes. We can use span class for our form as well. So we can say, let's say span 6. So it will reduce the width of our form. Here you can see it reduces the width of our form. So we can use span class to define the width, and we can use val class to give us a nice little background for our form. So this is how you create a good looking form using Bootstrap. So I'll just recap. So we defined form tags, and we given a class val and span 6 for the width, and then we had normal label, and then for the text box we use class span3. This defines again the width of text box. So same for the second text box. And for the two buttons, for the first button we use the class btn hyphen primary. This gives us the nice little blue button, and for the other button we just use the normal btn class provided by the Bootstrap. It gives us the simple white button in Bootstrap. So what else we can do with the form? So we can even give the hint in our text box, so the user know what to type in the text box. So how to give the hint in the text box using Bootstrap? So into your input tag, just another attribute, placeholder, and we'll just say type username here, and we will use the same for our password text box. Again, placeholder attribute, and within the quotation marks we type what we want to be displayed in our text box as a hint. Type password here. So now if we run it in our browser, so alright, just give me 1 second. I think I didn't do it properly for our first text box. So I didn't spell the holder properly, HOLDER. Okay, so let's run it again, and there you go. Now you can see that we have a hint in our text box as well, saying type username here or type password here. So you can use the placeholder attribute provided by the Bootstrap to give the hint in your text boxes. So this is how you create a nice, cool, professional looking form using Bootstrap easily without us having to write any CSS code. As you saw, we didn't write any CSS code and we created that good looking CSS Bootstrap form. So that's it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial I will show you how you can create different kinds of form, inline form, search form. So thanks for watching. Please rate, comment and subscribe, and see you in the next tutorial.